That was a fun dunk right there. He did have the other, I don't know, like 5 foot away tomahawk dunk that he attempted that just, it really didn't work at all. And Cooper Flagg himself said it was one of the worst games he played in his life.
Okay. Well, at least you started as a pro winning.
Yeah.
You won a game.
That's true.
He played a lot in this game, too. A lot more
32
than I think.
minutes.
You said 10?
I thought he was going to play 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
And like he did look really stiff out there at first, and then after he made that dunk, it did look like he was like feeling it and back to himself. But then he kept missing a whole bunch of shots. And they said on the TV broadcast multiple times, and I was like, I just don't agree with that. They're like, he could get away with that at Duke, not in the NBA. And there was at least 3 different shots that I was like, that is literally the exact same move in defense that he saw in Duke, and usually he made that shot. So I'm not disputing that he's going to need to get better at shot creation, but there were a couple particular times I was like, that's not an NBA thing. He just missed the shot. Like, he had the exact same move that I saw him do at Duke 8 million times, and then he just missed the shot. But you mentioned something. You saw, because the shooting was atrocious from him last night, but you did see other things, including in the final minute, the block combination and then the assist out for the 3, that you're like, okay.
There was another one, and I don't know if it was a Nembhard shot that Flagg tipped in that I just thought was beautiful, the way like he was just in the right spot.
Yes.
And a lot of times last night, it just seemed like because of the way he thinks, the way he sees the game, he's just in the right spot. And that's where I started getting excited, because I think Clay's going to knock down a shot. I think guys around him, I think PJ will knock down a shot that wide open. I think these things are going to happen, but how does he fill in the spaces and the cracks whenever something's missing? He can be a good slasher. He's around the basket. There are a lot of he has a great skill set that I'm excited to see more of.
From the 903, I think you guys will like this. Shout out to me, because I'm finally going to be able to make an appearance for the G-Bag Nation at Pickler Universe. They're going to be off of Pickler Universe, off of 35 in Carrollton. They're going to have free pizza there, Stella Artois samplings, free pickleball. It's going to be an extravaganza, so make your way back out there. I will admit, and you said this in the crosstalk, I did end up being more invested in this game than I thought. Like, I was there and ready to go for tip-off, and I could not tell you the last time I was there for tip-off of a Mavs Summer League game. And
Luka's rookie season, I sat down and watched that game.
And even then, we're talking about, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. I was really excited. It was a fun experience, and man, that place was pretty jam-packed.
Yeah, no, it was, and I mean, knowing that Jason Kidd was there to watch his kids, he's sitting there like, all right, what am I trying to get a look at? And I'm sorry, I know you wanted to talk a little more about Nembhard, but I was very impressed with him too.
For sure.
And I'm glad that he showed up like that on night 1, because, Kevin, this one was pitted as a Bronny versus Cooper Flagg.
Right.
ESPN was like, hey, we're going to sell this as this. And it felt like the pregame was an hour long for this thing. I know they had the home run show before it, but they were like, every few seconds they'd pan over to Cooper Flagg just got off the bus. Y'all get ready. And I was like, I am ready. I don't know what you're talking about. Kevin's not ready. And so, but like I said, lots of people showing up, lots of people with eyeballs on it, and Nembhard knows that's his moment to show off.
Yeah.
And get his name seen and heard.
You know what? And that is a good description of it, because it's not like Cooper Flagg won't make the team.
Right.
You're not like, I don't know.
The number 1 overall pick.
It really hadn't been shooting well. But, we can all very much see a world in which Ryan Nembhard does not make this team.
Sure.
So Ryan Nembhard needs to show exactly what he showed yesterday. He was tremendous shooting. It felt like he was all over the court. Although, to be fair, I did feel like Miles Kelly was really, really well involved and functional in this offense. But for Nembhard, he needs to stack up good appearances, and I was glad that he did.
So I know we've had this agreement with some FC Dallas people. Did we also agree with him that if he had a good game, he'd have to do Tank Top Tuesday with? I can't remember how that went down.
He would give us a nonstop string of Canadian facts.
That's right. He'd come back on and give us more facts. So if he makes the team or has great games. I can't remember how it went.
Ooh, I think it's going to be makes the the
Okay,
team.
all right. I'm totally in on it. Now I'm rooting for him to make the team even more.
And one of the things that's exciting about watching him play, especially if you didn't see him play in college, if you did, you're like, I got a good idea of what he can do, is it's a player that it's not hard to see the disconnect of maybe why he didn't get drafted. If he was 3 inches taller, like he would have been a no-brainer draft pick. And then you heard during the TV broadcast that supposedly the Mavericks try to trade back into the second round to pick him up.
Really?
So, yeah, they were not able to pull that off.
So they like him.
Yes, but then they were able to pick him up anyway. But, like, sometimes I like players like that where you're like, okay, I know you weren't drafted for a reason. What is that reason? And you see him play and you're like, okay, I get it. Because he's maybe 6 foot tall. Maybe. But he has a skill set that you're thinking, he's just a little bit taller. I think this would be a no-brainer for the NBA. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he's able to create some space. I liked watching him yesterday. It was fun.
He's a good offensive player, and I think, Kevin, I don't know how much size I don't know how much height's going to be a problem whenever a guy like Brandon Williams was running point and scoring points and also can distribute. If he can distribute, Jason Kidd might find a spot for him. And that's where I say, hey, being able to find ways to score, you're not maybe not a 25, 28 minute guy, but we're gonna find places for you. I think that he definitely could have a role on this team.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And I know Fred was kind of joking, kind of not, but you wonder with players like that, with the further emergence of Brandon Williams, if you've seen some of those, I know there are different positions, but you've seen those opportunities for Omax and Jaden Hardy just feeling like they're getting further and further away, and you kind of wonder, like, what is the future of those games?
Yeah, and
of those players.
And the future, Kevin, is clearly Cooper Flagg as part of a team. That's the thing that I think we're going to have to get over. Not us, but a lot of people who are casual about this. And that is, he is not legendary dude yet.
Sure.
He might be.
For sure.
He might not be. He might be a great number 2 player on a team.
Could be.
The best number 2 player on a team. But just kind of get into that mindset of watching this guy develop, watching him grow into the kind of player, and enjoying the fact that he can play defense at a certain level right now.
Yeah, and look, I think if the shooting, let's say yesterday, and he did not shoot well whatsoever, 5 for 21. But, like, stay with me for just 1 second. Let's say he shot 10 for 21 and 3 of 5 from 3. Does that actually mean anything going into the regular season? No, because the regular season doesn't start for like 3 months. But all of a sudden now he'd have 23 points and you'd feel good about his defense, his passes, and his rebounding, and everyone would be like, oh my God, this kid's going to be the greatest player in the history of the NBA. Mm-hmm. And so, like, what I mean by that is he didn't shoot well, but you did see the other phases of his game that you feel good about. You talked about being in the right place at the right time, being good off the rim and getting the rebounds. We've talked about the passing. And then again, you go back to, I think it's about a minute to go. You get the block, facilitates the breakout. Cooper Flagg gets the ball, passes it back to Nembhard, bang, hits the shot, and you win the game.
And I know it was kind of like a pickup game most of the night. Like, you could watch most of those guys on that court, the ball, it was scramble time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the ball's going everywhere, and they're all scrambling. Nobody can really make a shot. But did you see how many people had to follow and gravitate towards Cooper Flagg when he had the ball in his hands?
Yeah.
Full court, he's running full speed. 2 or 3 people feel like they have to go to him, and guess what? Wide open shooters. And so that's good. I think because of who he is, the attention he's going to draw too, and he'll draw that attention in the NBA, but he is going to have to learn how to beat one-on-ones.
Sure.
To demand those double teams to create more space like that.
So I wanted to just read this really quick. I am biased about this particular player, I will very much admit. From the 406, Flagg will be Grant Hill, a very good player, but not a superstar. He's no Larry Bird. I disagree about the breakdown of Grant Hill. Grant Hill was 100% a superstar phenom in this league. And if you don't believe me,
injury.
Look at exactly. At the age of 28, maybe 29, he started hitting a lot of injuries. But you look at a 5 consecutive year span. He was second team All-NBA 4 times and first team All-NBA.
He's like Johan Santana.
Yeah, actually.
Really good
for that,
already.
Yeah, for that chunk of time.
And then it happened.
And he was co-rookie of the year along with our head coach. So you think about it. He was co-rookie of the year his first season. Then his next 5 seasons, he was always one of the top 10 players in the league.
Yeah.
Like that's a superstar. Unfortunately, injuries derailed his career.
He played till he was 40, though.
He did.
Where in year 40, he averaged 3.2 points per game.
And you know what I just realized? I left off one of the injury questions for the day for basketball.
Well,
so
guess what?
Maybe we'll figure out a spot to put that in, but Cory has demanded more Cooper Flagg content.
So much Flagg.
And so we will try to abide by that.